Hello and welcome to a Blaseball Statistical History, a look at the San Francisco Lovers development across the expansion era. The Lovers had a variable performance in the discipline era, pinballing between the top and bottom of the league. They enter the expansion era with a strong rotation and a lineup that opens well but tails off in power. Season 12 is a hard one for the Lovers, as they finish 4th in their division and 18th overall. The weather doesn't help, as the win they gain is stolen from them again, and they face an allergic peanut reaction. A player spends one day elsewhere, and there is a shake-up, as feedback sees both Jalen Hotdog Fingers and Nan head for new teams. But there are positives, as Knight Triumphant gets 4 blood rains, and the team have 10 parties. The Lovers use their wills to gain 4th strike and make a lineup change. They see the Spies make a player trade, but they also win a blessing and recruit Liquid Friend to their lineup. The team looks quite different. The start of their rotation has strengthened, but they've lost their strongest pitcher. The lineup has some overall improvement, but their strongest batter has also gone. But the next season is a touch stronger as the team gain 2 places in the league. They appear in the seasonal reading and gain base stealing, which means their lineup now plays in reverse order, an order which has been optimized. A more positive showing allows the team to win 2 wins from opponents. 3 trips elsewhere are made, but for short stints. A feedback sees Gabriel Griffith join the rotation, and the Lovers get 7 more parties. In the election, they choose to reverse the Spies trade from last season, whilst the Spies have a go for a different player. They also make a change to the rotation. The rotation is now a force to be reckoned with, whilst regaining Knight Triumphant means good things for a lineup, which is now ordered in ascending amounts of batting stars, not an ideal. Yet the Lovers make it work, as they jump up to 2nd in their division, 6th overall, heading into the postseason. Sadly, they are eliminated in the wildcard round by the Crabs. During the season, they concede a win to an opponent and see 4 trips elsewhere. But it is a busy election for the team. They use their wills to infuse a player and to move a player into their lineup. Then the Tigers take their strongest pitcher in exchange for Nan. The Spies take back the player they sent over last season, and the Georges steal Knight Triumphant, both of whom enter the shadows due to order of operations events. The Tigers and Spies did serious damage to the rotation with their trades, and the Georges have taken the powerhouse of the lineup. This leaves the Lovers much worse off as they enter season 15. And this is reflected in their performance, as they move back down the league to 22nd. 1 player takes a 13-day trip elsewhere. 2 more players are observed, and this results in Liquid Friend being redacted. But the team do get 6 parties. Coming 22nd means 3 wills for the team, and they use these to move 1 batter to the shadows and make a change to the rotation. They also pick a transfusion for Ortiz Lopez, who is then stolen by the Georges, and the Dale also make a player trade. The lineup looks a little healthier, although shorter, and whilst the Lovers' foreshadow helped the rotation, the Dale's player swap has not. But season 16 still sees improvement, as the Lovers move up to 14th in the league. It is a quiet season for them. They lose 1 win to Black Hole Weather, but also get 8 parties. In the election, they choose to take Pitching Machine from the Worms and move a player to their rotation. The rotation and lineup are now equal in size, both inconsistent in power, but with some standout players. Yet none of this works in the team's favour, as they return to 22nd in the league. They gain a net 1 win from the weather, but experience 3 negative blood rains. This is somewhat countered by 9 parties. But their position means another 3 wills are gained, which allow them to make a change to their rotation, take Knight Triumphant back from the Georges, and swap a player into their lineup. The lineup now looks much healthier, and the rotation has begun to even out. Season 18 sees a move up to joint 17th overall, and 4th in their division. There is one brief trip to elsewhere, and the team has 5 positive blood rains to 1 negative. The only consumer attack they face is defended against, but there is some change, as 2 feedbacks see Cannonball Sports and Night Triumphant leaving for new teams. The Lovers also attract Kurt Kruller, who is batted in by Night Triumphant before they leave. There are also 7 parties. During Season 18, the Lovers receive 3 gifts, gaining soul boosts for players and making the team Life of the Party and Fireproof. In the election, the team moved Nan to their lineup, but it also shadow revoked them, meaning they roamed away to the flowers. But they also won a blessing, re-rolling the cinnamon of 3 players. Both lineup and rotation still have weaknesses, but there is plenty of power there if it can be utilised. It seems it can't, but in the Lovers' favour, Season 19 is a time when being bad is good, and they come 7th in the league, heading into the postseason. They make it to the Division Series before being knocked out by the Garages. They join the rest of the league in appearing in the seasonal reading, which makes Mint Shoop uncertain. They forfeit a win through Sun 2, but Blood Rain ends up being net neutral. There are 2 more feedbacks and 4 trips to elsewhere, but the team also get 2 parties. Season 19 gives the Lovers another 3 gifts, making the team soundproof and fireproof, whilst 1 player gains an item. In the election, they use their wills to make a change to the rotation and improve 1 shadow player's pitching. They also win 2 blessings, making 1 player guarded and improving the defence of their entire shadows. The rotation slightly outshines the lineup with power, but with other teams looking markedly more stacked, the inconsistency both parts of this team show are not promising. And that shows in their performance, as they finished 22nd in the league. But they do qualify for the under bracket, where they lose all the way to the final to be crowned champions. During the season, the weather is mostly against them. Their missing player returns from elsewhere, but another departs for the rest of the season. They have a brief visit from Jesus Koch, who roams across with 5th base, before departing to the Moist Talkers. And they get 9 parties. Another 3 gifts see the team become early to the party, 1 player become unambitious, and another gain an item. Wills are used to change the lineup, infuse a Shadows player's batting, and re-roll a mod. The longer rotation has 2 standout pitchers, but the rest of varying skill, while the lineup continues to be a little all over the place. But they do see some improvement as the Lovers move up to 18th in the league. They qualify for the under bracket again, but this time they are eliminated in the wildcard round by the Moist Talkers. The weather grants them 6 wins. 1 player remains elsewhere for nearly the whole season, and 3 others take shorter trips. Another 2 feedbacks, alongside a reverb for the lineup, means plenty of change for the Lovers, but they also get 6 parties. This season, the Lovers get 4 gifts, securing themselves the Fireproof mod, soul boosts for some of their players, and replicas of both Uncle Plasma and Liquid Friend. In the election, the team chooses to reclaim one of their feedbacked players, and also swap players between rotation and lineup. The feedbacks actually benefited the Lovers, as their rotation is now somewhat terrifying. And whilst there are still weaker players, the lineup isn't too far behind. And it shows, as the Lovers top their division and come 7th in the league. They qualify for the postseason, but are knocked out in the Division Series by the Breath Mints. Whether on their side, the team gain a total of 13 wins. Elsewhere decreases in popularity with shorter trips, and 2 players become unstable but survive it. Voicemail makes a couple of changes to the lineup, and 2 more parties are had. In Season 22, 3 gifts see the Lovers opting to become fireproof, and once again have replicas of the dynamic duo. Their wills make a change to the lineup and re-roll a mod. The Fridays then vote to reclaim one of the pitches they lost through feedback the previous season, and in Blessings, the Lovers lose a Shadows player to the Garages, and C players become skipping and subtractors at the hands of the Fridays and the Worms. Teams still strong, the Lovers look much healthier than in previous seasons. But it doesn't quite play out for them, as they drop to joint 16th in the league. They get wild-carded into the postseason, but don't get further than that round. Weather grants them another 13 wins, a couple of trips elsewhere and 2 negative blood rains, before Helga Moreno becomes unstable twice, and sadly the second time is incinerated. And the changes don't end there, as both voicemail and fax machine mix things up, and even 6 parties don't seem to soften the madness. The Lovers get just 2 gifts this season, becoming early to the party and gaining an item for a player. In the election, they opt for the roamless party favour, and join the rest of the league in becoming under review. They do win a blessing, seeing 2 of their players evolve. Other blessings mean they send a Shadows player to the Tacos and another player to the Wild Wings, but following the semi-centennial match, they gain a player from the Rising Stars. As they enter the final season of the era, the Lovers once again have equal length rotation and lineup, both of which have a fair bit of power, but aren't necessarily optimised to use it. But it seems the Lovers thrive in the chaos, as they come 3rd of the 24 ILB teams, and 1st in their new division of the Desert. Sun 30 grants them 3 wins, but Alexander Horn wants some attention, as they have a negative blood rain, become unstable, and then have a party. 2 players take trips elsewhere, before 1 is replaced in a night shift. Fax Machine also makes some player changes, but 5 of the 6 consumer attacks experienced are defended against. The Lovers see a lot of movement in Season 24, heading straight for the desert, then joining the desert bus for Wrath in charging the coin. Once the coin is scattered, they return to the desert, where they finish the era. In the expansion era, the Lovers faced 1 incineration, 9 feedbacks, which was the most in their division, 1 reverb, alongside 74 parties. They had 1 allergic peanut reaction. There were 9 positive to 8 negative blood rains, 8 positive to 4 negative black hole activations, and 6 positive to 9 negative Sun 2s. None of their players were shelled, 5 were unstable, 2 were observed, and 1 redacted as a result. There was 1 night shift. Voicemail made 7 changes, and Fax Machine 4, but they neither lost nor gained Shadows players through the Thieves Guild. 24 players took a trip to elsewhere, 1 making the longest stay of any mild high player with 140 days away. Sun 30 granted the team 31 wins, and they faced 7 consumer attacks. Their Arcana Judgment appeared in 2 seasonal readings. The team were given 18 gifts, granted 25 wills, and won 5 blessings. They competed in 4 postseasons, once as a wild card, but didn't win any, but they won one of the 2 underbrackets they took part in. At the end of the era, the Lovers look really different to how they started, having faced more change than most other teams. Whilst there are several high-power players, the team isn't best organised to use them, and there are some weaker players that would need some support. Thank you for joining me for another Blaxplanation. I'll be back with more Blaseball fun and facts soon, but until then, rejoice, play ball.